Grade. This week for reading, we are asking that you guys choose one of the authors we have picked and put on the list for your lesson plans and really study what you enjoy about them. So pick one of those, look at all of them and pick one of those authors that you really like something about what they do. It could be their illustrations, it could be their writing craft moves, but pick an author that you really enjoy and they have some talent that you want to implement in your own writing. And then after you have picked your author, we're going to ask you to do this activity today about a character in one of their stories that you really enjoy. So first you're going to pick your author and then you're going to do this activity on one of their characters. So I'm going to walk you through the character activity today that you'll be posting on your reading Padlet. So here we go. So here's the activity about your character for your author. Now, what we're really trying to focus on when we're reading our author's book and looking at the character this week is really the last big question, which is how did your author bring them to life? Now, we've gone over this as a writer before, but now I'm having you guys identify it as readers. So in our writers workshop, when we talked about our mentor stories in the beginning of the year and our series books that we just finished, we talked a lot about how to bring our characters to life. Now remember, those are like actions and movement where we have in our writing, the characters are moving around and they're doing different things, and action words like verbs are being used. It could also be in dialogue when you have your characters talking. That's another way that authors bring characters to life. And then the last two ways are through feelings and thoughts. When in your writing, you give your character a thought when they're thinking about something in their life or they're thinking about something that's going to happen, that really shows them to be alive. And also when you talk about how they feel, because as humans, we have feelings, and that really resonates with us and makes that character seem more alive to us. So as you read one of your stories today from the author you chose, I really want you to choose one of their characters and really focus on different details in the story that really bring that character to life. So the first step is you're going to draw your character. Now, one of my favorite authors, and he's not on the list, I'm just using him as an example, is Corey Rawson. And I've read this book to you, and I know maybe in the other classes you guys have these books in your library where it's Ninja Red Riding Hood. So he writes fairy tales in a different way. And here's Ninja Chicks, which is Hansel and Gretel. And he has very interesting illustrations, which is why I really enjoy his writing. So I'm going to focus on his wolf in Ninja Red Riding Hood as my character. So the first thing I would do is I would draw the wolf. And as you know, especially if you're in my class, I am not the best drawer. So bear with me. It'll probably look more like a puppy. So here's my wolf, and I have him drawn, and I can label him as well, so that you guys know which character I'm talking about. So your first step is to draw the character you're talking about. Your second step is to write down any details about the character you found when you're reading. And when I read Ninja Red Riding Hood, one of the big character traits from the wolf is that he was mean. He's also brown and he's hairy. Also, after reading, I found out that he is a very good fighter. Very good at fighting. And that's a major thing he does in this story. So after I make my list of different details about him, then I go to that main question at the bottom. How did my author bring them to life? And one of the ways that the author brings the wolf alive has to do with this detail up here, that he's very good at fighting. So I'm going to draw an arrow down here. He has the wolf move a lot. And an example I can give, because it's always good to prove your point with an example, is that the wolf jumps through the air. And that proves that he has a lot of movement. So this is the activity that kind of gets you guys thinking about how your author works with their characters. And it also allows you to bring out those details and those different things that your author does that you can also use in your writing. So remember, the first step is to draw your character. The second step is to write details about your character that you found when reading your story. And the last step is to answer this really important question. How does your author bring their character to life? And once you guys finish this, make sure that you post it on our reading Padlet for others to see as well. Thank you so much. I cannot wait to see which characters you choose.